Hey everyone, so ang magiging topic po natin ngayon is applications of differential calculus. So namely, the derivative as a slope, the derivative as a rate of change, and the derivatives as in linear motion. So unahin natin yung derivative as a slope. So yung past na lesson natin, na-discuss na natin yung slope ng isang curve and yun po yung application ng differential calculus. So babalikan lang natin siya ngayon. So, the derivative as a slope. So, the derivative of a function is the slope of the tangent line to the curve y is equal to f of x at point x. So, pwede po nating makuha yung slope ng tangent line sa isang curve kapag dinerivative po natin yung mismong function. And then, we're going to substitute the value of x. And yun po yung magiging slope ng tangent line on that specific point or on that specific domain. We may solve for the equation of the tangent line to the curve y at any point of the curve with coordinates a, b by following these steps. So, pwede po nating makuha yung lahat ng equation ng tangent line doon sa curve kapag meron tayong coordinates a, b. Ang nakalagay doon sa ating reference nung una, di ba? Yan ay x sub 1, y sub 1. But in this book, ang ginamit po ay a, b. So, we have point. So, paano po natin magagawa yan? Para magawa po natin yan, we need to solve for the derivative of f of x. Kasi pag na-solve natin ang derivative ng f of x, ito na rin yung equation of the slope. Equation of the slope to the curve. Tangent to the curve. And then, number 2, we're going to evaluate the value of the derivative at x is equal to a. This value is the slope of the tangent m sub t at that point a, b. So, pwede po natin makuha yung mismong pinaka-specific value ng slope by substituting a value of x. Depende po kung anong point yung pipiliin natin. So, yun yung mismong slope ng tangent line dun sa curve. So, wherein yung m sub t po natin, that is equal to f prime of a. So, kapag na-derivative natin siya, substitute natin yung a, yun po yung slope of the tangent line. And then for number 3, since we know the point a, b, or pwede rin namang point x1, y1, and we have the slope m sub t, pwede na po natin gamitin yung tinatawag na point slope form, which is ito yung kanyang equation. Y minus b is equal to m sub t x minus a. Yung m sub t po na to is yung slope ng tangent line. Yung past natin ginagamit na formula before ay y minus y sub 1 is equal to m sub t x minus x sub 1. So, parehas lang po yan. Yung y sub 1 naging b, yung x sub 1 naman ay naging a. And then, after substituting, we're going to simplify the linear expression. Yun na ngayon yung equation ng tangent line doon sa curve. So, kapag sinimplify po natin ang expression, we can write it as ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. So, dapat naka-general form of the equation of the line, or pwede rin naman na naka-y is equal to mx plus b. Naka-slope intercept form siya. But I prefer yung, ito po, yung una. So, meron tayong example dito. So, for example, number 1, find the equation of the tangent line to the graph of the function y is equal to x squared plus 1 at the point 1, 2. So, itong y is equal to x squared plus 1 na ito po yung ating curve. Okay? And then, ang pinapahanap sa atin is yung equation ng tangent line. So, ibig sabihin, equation ng line yung sagot natin, specifically tangent line na nakatangent dun sa ating curve at this point, 1, 2. Ang point na to, ito po yung ating kaninang a, b, or ito po yung tinatawag natin na point of tangency. Kapag sinabing point of tangency, dito kumbaga nakatangent yung ating tangent line at that specific point. So, ang gagawin po natin, una, is to differentiate to find the equation of the slope. So, differentiate natin yung equation ng curve. So, ito po yung equation ng curve natin. So, gawin natin, kunin natin yung kanyang dy dx or the derivative of y with respect to x. So, ang y po natin ay equal to x squared plus 1. So, the derivative of x squared plus 1 with respect to x is equal to 2x. So, ibig sabihin, ang equation po ng slope is equal to 2x. Para mahanap natin yung slope at any point, magsasubstitute ka lang dyan ng value ng x kasi iba-iba po yung slope na nakatangent sa ating curve. Kumbaga yung slope ng line na nakatangent sa ating slope, iba-iba yung kanyang value depending nga rin sa value ng x. So, ito ngayon yung ating equation. Since ang point of tangency natin is 1, 2, so, gagawin natin, substitute natin yung x as 1 kasi yung first coordinate natin dyan ay x and then yung second coordinate ay y. So, 2 times 1 is 2. So, ang slope po ng tangent line na nakatangent doon sa ating point of tangency na 1, 2 ay may slope po siya na 2. So, ayun na. Nahanap natin yung slope ng tangent line which is equal to 2. Ang next po natin gagawin, hanapin po natin dyan yung equation ng tangent line. Para mahanap po yung equation ng tangent line, we're simply going to use this formula. Y minus b is equal to m sub t, x minus a. So, take note lang na yung ating a, b o yung ating point of tangency, yan ay equal to 1, 2. So, yung b po natin dyan ay 2, yung a naman ay 1. Or yung ating x is 1, yung ating y is 2. So, substituting y minus 2, ang b nga natin dyan ay 2, ang a naman natin dyan ay 1. So, y minus 2 is equal to, yung slope naman ng tangent line natin, na-solve na natin kanina, which is 2. That is 2 times x minus 1. And then, distribute lang natin yung 2 rito. So, magiging y minus 2 is equal to 2x. Then, ito naman, 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Then, combining similar terms. So, magiging 2x, lipat yung y sa kabila, from left going to right. So, magiging 2x minus y. Minus 2, lipat yung negative 2 from left papuntang right. So, mula rito papunta dito. So, magiging negative 2 plus 2 is equal to 0. So, magiging 2x minus y minus 2 plus 2 is equal to 0. So, that is equal to 2x minus y is equal to 0. So, ito po yung equation ng, equation po ito ng tangent line. This is the equation of tangent line. Tangent to the curve y is equal to x squared plus 1 at point 1, 2. Okay, so recap lang po siya sa past discussion. Okay, ang derivative po, pwede rin po siyang maging rate of change. So, ano ibig sabihin ng rate of change? Pag sinabi po natin rate of change, ang rate of change po ay yung pagbabago ng isang certain variable comparing to another variable with respect to another variable. So, we will consider the use of the derivative in finding the rate of change. The rate of change of one variable with respect to another variable. So, alam po natin na may mga concept in real life na nakadepende po yung rate of change ng isang variable sa isa pang variable. So, ano po yung mga examples nito? So, mga examples po nito is the distance covered by a car moving at a constant speed depends on the time of travel. So, ano pong ibig sabihin yan? Ibig sabihin yan, nakadepende po yung distance sa time travel, di ba? So, this common sense. So, ang distance, kapag mahaba yung time na tina-travel mo, mas mahaba yung distance. Kung maikli yung time travel mo, mas maikli yung distance. So, yung change o yung pagbabago sa distance, nakadepende siya sa pagbabago sa time. So, yung rate of change of distance depends on the rate of change of time. So, yan po ay kapag ang distance, let's denote distance as capital letter, let's say capital letter S. And then, yung time naman, gawin naman natin siyang small letter t. So, that is ds over dt. So, nakadepende po yung distance sa time. So, kung magbabago yung time, tsaka palang magbabago yung distance. And then next, example, we have temperature of the water depends on the heating time. So, nakadepende raw po yung temperatura ng tubig dun sa heating time kung gaano siya katagal na pinakuluan. So, example nito is yung sa electric kettle, di ba? Or yung pinapakuluan nating tubig. So, yung temperature, yung change in temperature or DT, that depends on the heating time. Okay? Yung capital letter T is yung temperature, small letter t is time. So, yung pagbabago sa temperature depends on the change of time. So, next is the cost of profit of producing the calculators depends on the number of calculators produced. So, ito naman po, nakadepende yung cost of profit dun sa number of calculators na mapoproduce. So, let's say, for example, yan po ay, let's denote that as D sub C, or let's say, for example, D sub capital letter P, yung cost of profit depends upon the number of calculators produced. So, gawin na lang natin siyang D sub Q, no? Ibig sabihin, quantity ng calculators produced. So, nakadepende yung isang variable o yung pagbabago ng isang variable dun sa isa pang variable. So, kaya ito po example ng rate of change. In mathematics, ang usual po nating nakikita ay x and y. So, we have two variables, x and y, where y is a function of x or y is equal to f of x. So, di ba ang nakikita natin sa mathematics, yan ay dy dx. So, magbabago lang yung y kapag ka nagbago yung sa x. Or magbabago lang yung output kapag may nagbago sa input. That's why dy dx po yung tawag sa kanya. For a given increment in x from x sub 1 to x sub 2, the value of y changed from f of x sub 1 plus to f of x sub 2. So, ang input po natin dyan, x1 and then x sub 2. And then yung output natin dyan, f of x sub 1 and then f of x sub 2. Kumbaga ito yung y1 natin, ito naman yung y sub 2. For a given increment in x, ibig sabihin, for every change of x, the value of y change from fx sub 1 to fx sub 2. So, tsaka palang magkaroon ng change in y. So, ito po yung tinatawag na change of x. Ito naman yung change of y. The average rate of change of y in the interval x1, x2 is the ratio, that is ratio, is the ratio in the change of y or change of y over the increment in x or change of x. Pag pinag-usapan po natin yung average rate of change, yan po ay ratio daw ng change of y. Kapag average rate of change, that is change of y over change of x. So, kapag change of x, yan ay x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Kapag change of y naman, ito naman ay y sub 2 minus y sub 1. So, we all know kapag sabi natin y sub 2, that is f of x sub 2. Kapag y sub 1 naman, f of x sub 1. Okay, f of x sub 2 minus f of x sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 is the change of y over change of x. So, for every change of input, nagkakaroon po ng change in output. That's why we have change of y over change of x, or in mathematics, that is dy over dx. So, ang gagawin mo lang dyan, pag maminusin mo lang sila and then i-ratio mo. Okay, let's try some example, no? So, the table of values below shows the temperature T, the temperature capital letter T in degrees of a metal after being heated for X minutes. So, ibig sabihin, kapag ininit daw siya ng after 4 minutes, ang temp ng ating metal ay 94 degrees. At 5 minutes, 95 degrees. At 6 minutes, 98 degrees. So, at 10 minutes, that is 130 degrees Celsius. So, ang pinapahanap po sa letter A, determine the average rate of change of the temperature for the following time interval. From 4 minutes to 10 minutes. Yun po yung pinapahanap. 4 minutes to 10 minutes. So, ang gagawin po natin dyan, identify natin 4 minute, and then 10 minutes. So, ito lang yung kailangan nating data dyan. Titingnan natin yung rate of change from 4 minutes to 10 minutes. Gaano kalaki yung kanyang naging pagbabago. So, that is change of t over change of x. So, bakit change of t yung nasa itaas, change of x nasa ilalim? Kasi po yung temperature, nakadepende po siya sa... Okay, ang temperature nakadepende po siya sa time, which is x. Kaya dyan siya sa itaas. Kumbaga, change of output over change of input. Okay, so ngayon, ang change of t over change of x, yan po ay... Okay, ang change of t natin, yan ay T2 minus T1 or initial temp divided by final temp. Change of x naman, x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So, syempre, ito po yung ating 2. Ito naman yung 1. Diba? So, kasi from 4 minutes to 10 minutes, so ito yung initial or ito yung 1, final is 2. So, T2 po natin dyan ay 130 minus T1 natin na 94 all over. So, dala natin yung formula all over. X sub 2 natin ay 10. X sub 1 ay 4. So, ngayon 130 minus 94, ang sagot po dyan ay 36. Ibig sabihin 36 degrees Celsius. And then 10 minutes minus 4 minutes, yan ay 6 minutes. So, 36 degrees Celsius over 6 minutes, ang sagot po dyan ay 6 degree per minute. So, ito po yung kanyang tinatawag na average rate of change from 4 minutes up to 10 minutes. Ito kumbaga yung naging pagbabago from 10 minutes to 4 minutes. Ito yung kumbaga, ito yung naging increment na change in temperature for every minute na gumalaw. So, actually, we can, pwede pa natin yung i-trace, no? So, from 4 minutes, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, ano ba yung temperature natin at 4 minutes? Di ba yan ay 94 degrees Celsius? So, ano yung rate of change niya or pagbabago niya from 4 to 10? Di ba ang sabi natin, yan ay 6 degrees Celsius per minute. So, 94 plus 6 is 100. 100 plus 6, 106. 106 plus 6, 112. 112 plus 6, 118. 118 plus 6, 124. 124 plus 6, 130 degree Celsius. So, from 94 degrees Celsius, nung nakarating siya ng 30 degrees Celsius, ang amount po ng change for every minute is 6 degrees per minute. Kumbaga, yun yung average rate of change niya. So, yun po yung kanyang concept. Kumbaga, lumalabas, nagbabago siya ng 6 degrees Celsius per minute. No? So, ito naman, 6 degrees Celsius and then 6 degrees Celsius. Pero of course, we all know na based on the data, hindi naman talaga exactly 6 degrees Celsius yung nag-adjust. For example, 4 to 5 minutes, 94 to 95 degrees, 1 degree Celsius lang. 5 to 6 naman, 3 degrees Celsius. Kaya nga po ang term na ginamit dyan ay average rate of change. Tinitingnan natin yung rate of change from point A or from point 1 up to point 2. Kumbaga yun yung kanyang concept. Kumbaga ito yung actual data, yung nasa itaas, actual data. Pero ang question kasi dyan, tinitingnan natin or tinatanong sa atin yung average rate of change or gaano kalaki yung pagbabago from the 4 minute up to 10 minutes pag tinignan natin yung kanyang temperature. Okay, so next po tayo. Next naman natin is from 4 minutes to 8 minutes. So, average rate of change pa din yan. So, we all know na yan ay delta t over delta x or dt over dx, di ba? So, ang delta t natin ay t2 minus t1. And then, yung delta x naman natin ay x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So, ano pong kailangan nating data dyan? Ang kailangan nating data is yung sa 4 minutes tsaka sa 8 minutes. So, balikan natin. Sa 4 minutes, 94 degrees Celsius. Sa 8 minutes, 110 degrees Celsius. So, sulat lang natin. At 4 minutes, yan ay 94 degrees Celsius. Nung nag-8 minutes na, based on our data, yan ay 110 degrees Celsius. So, ito po yung ating X. Ito yung ating temperature. So, yung X sub T2 natin dyan is 110. T1 natin 94. All over. X2 natin 8. X1 natin dyan ay 4. So, 110 minus 94 is 16. 8 minus 4 is 4. So, 16 over 4, that's 4. So, ang average rate of change from 4 minutes to up to 8 minutes is 4 degrees Celsius per minute. So, yan yung ating final answer. And the next naman is from 4 minutes up to 6 minutes. So, same formula pa din. T sub 2 minus T sub 1 over X sub 2 minus X sub 1. So, lumalabas dyan yung ating X sub 1, which is 4 minute. And then, yung T sub 1 naman natin is 94 degrees Celsius. And then, yung ating T sub 2 ay 6 minutes. And then, yung ating X sub 2 is 6 minutes. And then, yung ating T sub 2 naman ay 98 degrees Celsius. So, tingnan natin. 494, 698. So, tama, ano? So, 494 and then 698. So, X2, X1, T2, T1. So, from 4 minutes to 6 minutes, that is 98 minus 94 degrees Celsius all over 6 minus 4. That will give you 4 over 2. And that will give us the answer 2 degrees Celsius per minute. Kasi ang unit ng temperature ay degrees Celsius. Ang unit naman ng X dyan, which is time, is naka-minute. So, what can we conclude from the problem, ano? So, therefore, we can conclude that the rise in temperature of the metal is faster at longer time intervals. Baga parang pag tinignan natin, mas mabilis kumbaga yung pag-increase ng change in temperature at longer time intervals. Kasi from 4 to 6 minutes, yan ay shorter interval, ang rate of change niya lang 2 degrees Celsius per minute. 4 to 8 minutes, 4 degrees Celsius. Kanina 4 to 10 minutes, di ba ang sagot natin doon ay 6 degrees Celsius per minute. Kapag kinumpare natin siya at a longer time intervals, parang lumalabas mas mabilis yung kanyang rate of change or yung pag-rise ng temperature niya per unit of time. Pero kapag kinumpare natin siya from interval na shorter, parang maliit lang yung kanyang difference o yung change in temperature per change in time in minute. Yun po yung ating conclusion. So anyway, this is average rate of change. Difference lang ng output over difference ng input. And then, for its unit na ilalagay natin, hindi po yan parating degrees Celsius per minute. Depende po yan sa given kung ano yung pinag-uusapan. So, next naman, a psychologist found out in an experiment that the time it takes a student to memorize X words is defined by the function f of x is equal to 2x squared minus x, where f of x is in seconds. So, anong tong result na to? So, ibig sabihin, yung output natin dyan is yung time and then yung input is yung words. Ang gawin natin dito, gawa tayo ng table. So, gawa tayo ng table. Wherein ditong part na to is yung x. And then, yung x na yan po ay in terms of words. X, ibig sabihin yung bilang ng words. Then, yung f of x naman natin is in terms of seconds. Ito naman ay kung gaano katagal ma-memorize yung word na yun. So, ang gagawin natin, since ang question naman ay 3 words, 4 words, 5 words yung nakalagay dito, no? 7 words. So, mag-start tayo sa 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. So, para natin makuha yung f of x, ang gagawin natin is substitute natin siya para malaman natin kung ilang segundo po yan na may memorize. So, 3 words substituting dito sa equation na to. So, 3 squared is 9. 9 times 2, 18. 18 minus 3, that is 15. So, lagay lang natin 15 seconds. So, ang 3 words na may memorize daw siya within 15 seconds. Kapag 4 words naman, 4 squared is 16. 16 times 2, 32. 32 minus 4, that is 28. So, ang 4 words, kaya daw siyang i-memorize within 28 seconds. Kapag 5 words naman, 5 squared is 25. Okay, 25 times 2, 50. 50 minus 5 is 45 seconds. So, kapag 5 words, it takes 45 seconds na memorize. Kapag 6, gamitan natin siya ng calculator. So, the answer is, okay, 66 seconds. Kapag 7 words naman, kaya siyang i-memorize ng 91 seconds. And then, we're going to find the rate of change. So, unahin natin itong letter E, no? Average rate of change. From 3 words daw to 7 words. 3 words to 7 words. Saan yun? Ito po yung 3 words. Ito po yung 7 words. So, yan po yung kailangan natin. So, basically, to answer letter A, that is, okay, so, rate of change of memorization time. So, rate of change of memorization time. So, yan ay change of, balito ay f of x, ano? So, change of f of x over the change of x. So, ano yung change of f of x natin? So, yan ay 91. Yan yung f of x sub 2 minus f of x sub 1. 15 over, okay, 7 words minus 3 words. So, 91 minus 15, ang sagot po natin dyan ay, okay, 76 over 7 minus 3, which is 4. So, divide natin siya. Ang sagot po ay 19. So, that is 19 seconds per word. So, yan po yung ating answer for letter E. So, next natin, letter B. Burahin lang natin ito. For letter B naman, inalam naman natin dyan yung rate of change from 3 words to 5 words. So, ito yung kailangan nating data. 3 words tsaka 5 words. So, time yung kailangan. Therefore, 45 minus 15 all over 5 words minus 3 words. So, 45 minus 15 ay 30 over 5 minus 3, which is 2. So, the answer is, okay, 15 seconds per words. No? So, ito yung ating final answer for letter B. And the next naman natin is yung letter C. So, for letter C, ang kailangan natin dyan ay 3 words to 4 words. So, ito po yung kailangan natin data. 3 words tsaka 4 words. So, 28 seconds minus yung initial natin, 15 seconds over 4 words minus 3 words. So, 28 minus 15 is 13. Over 4 minus 3 words is, ito po ay 1 word. So, yan ay 13 seconds per word. So, ito po yung ating final answer. So, ganun lang kumuha ng average rate of change. Yung nasa itaas is yung most likely yung output, and then yung nasa ibaba is yung input. Next naman for letter D. Anong sabi sa letter D? Find the rate of the memorization time for 3 words. Ang hinihingi niya dito is 3 words. So, wala po siyang binigay na kumbaga 3 words to 4 words, 3 words to 5 words. Ang hinihingi niya ay exactly 3 words, no? Yung hinahanap niya, exactly 3 words. So, para natin ito makukuha. Para makuha natin yung exactly 3 words, since wala po siyang nilagay na magiging comparison or walang initial, walang final, 3 words. Ang lumalabas kasi ito ay instantaneous at exactly 3 words. So kapag kaganyang instantaneous yung hinahanap natin, instantaneous rate of change, ang gagawin po natin dyan, kailangan mo natin i-derivative yung mismong function. So anong derivative ng 2x squared minus x? Di ba yan ay 4x. So, f prime of x is 4x. At 4x minus 1, I mean. So, palitan lang natin. 4x minus 1. And then, kung gusto po nating malaman yung rate of the memorization time for exactly 3 words, isa-substitute mo lang siya. F prime of 3. So, 4 times 3 minus 1, that will give you 11. 11 seconds per word po yung sagot. So, ang rate kasi ng memorization time niya na hinahanap dito ay exactly 3 words. So, ano pong ibig sabihin yan? Instantaneous rate of change. Kumbaga, ang kino-compare niya dyan, 3 words, and then, yung isang word naman ay 3.00001 words. No, kumbaga, ito yung kino-compare natin, instantaneous. Kung mapapansin natin, yung layo nilang dalawa ay approaching to 0, yung kanilang difference. So, kapag instantaneous, ang kino-compare mong isa is kalapit na kalapit. Or almost 0 yung kanilang agwat. So, alam naman natin walang 3.00001 words. No? So, ginagawa dyan para mahanap yung instantaneous rate of change, kailangan mo talaga siyang i-derivative. Kasi pag derivative mo yan, makuha mo yung instantaneous rate of change, and then simply substitute yung gusto mong makuha na instantaneous rate of change. In this case is exactly at 3 words. So, that's the answer. So, next po tayo. So, next po natin, may tinatawag po tayong derivative in rectilinear motion. So, ano yung rectilinear motion? So, maririnig natin tong term na to sa dynamics and then sa physics. Pag sabihin natin rectilinear motion, ito po yung motion ng isang particle or ng isang object within a straight line. Kaya siya rectilinear motion. And ano po yung mga importanteng concept sa rectilinear motion? So, meron kang particle from point A, then magmo-move yan up to point B. So, ngayon, yung pagitan niyan from point A to point B, ang pagitan sa kanila, ang tawag po dyan ay displacement. Okay, displacement. Nung nag-move yung object o yung particle from point A to point B, which will be denoted by S. And then, ang isa pang importanteng category dyan ay yung tinatawag na time. Yung time naman is yung amount of time it took na mag-move yung isang particle from point A to point B. Kasi kapag nag-change in position ka, so syempre may time na kakakibat. Ilang oras yung inabot mo bago ka nakarating from point A to point B. Okay, so yan yung isa sa mga importanteng tatandaan dyan. Yung displacement o yung, kumbaga yung change in position, ibig sabihin yung pinag-minus mo yung final position minus initial position, and then yung time. Pinag-minus mo yung final time tsaka initial time. So, yun po yun, no? So, derivative in rectilinear motion. So, ang sabi po dito, the ratio of the displacement change of S to the time interval change of t, t2 minus t1, is defined as the average velocity of the particle. So, pag sinabi nating average velocity daw, in symbols, yan ay change in position over change in time. Ano pong ibig sabihin yan? Gaano kabilis yung kumbaga yung change in position o yung pagbabago mo ng position with respect to time. Gaano kabilis yung pagbabago nun. Ang change in position with respect to change of time, guys, ang tawag dyan is basically velocity. Or kumbaga para siyang bilis. Gaano kabilis yung pagbabago mo ng position from one point to another. So kung meron tayong initial time, so yung initial time na yan, syempre, meron niyang displacement. May kakibat siyang displacement. So, tawagin natin siyang S of t sub 1. Kasi, ang displacement, nakadepende siya sa time. Then, yung time 2 natin, nung nakarating na tayo sa final position, meron tayong tinatawag na displacement at t sub 2. So, halimbawa, no? At 0 seconds, ang position mo ay 1 meter. Nung naglakad ka, 5 seconds, ang another position mo na ay 5 meters. So, ito ngayon yung T2 mo, ito yung T sub 1, ito yung S sub 2 mo, ito naman yung S sub 1. So, para mahanap yung iyong speed, o yung, in this case, is yung average velocity, no? Para mahanap yung average velocity, ang susundin lang natin ng formula, change in displacement over change of time. Titingnan natin yung change in displacement, and then yung change in time. Yung ratio ng dalawa, yun yung average velocity. Okay, next po tayo. Okay, next pa natin, a particle moves in a straight line such that after t seconds, its distance from its initial position, or S sub t, is equal to 3t squared plus t meters. Find the following. Okay, ito yung mga pinapahanap. The displacement from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. Then the average velocity from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. Ang gawin natin, hanapin muna natin yung kanyang table. So, gawa tayo ng table. Yung input natin is yung time. Then, yung output is yung displacement. Since ang nakalagay na numero rito, 2 tsaka 3 seconds, so hanapin natin yung 2 seconds tsaka yung 3 seconds na displacement, no? So, substitute natin. Kunin natin yung S sub 2. Or S of 2 is equal to 3 times 2 squared plus 2. So, 2 squared is 4 times 3, 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. So, at 2 seconds, ang kanyang displacement ay 14 meters. 14 meters, yung unit. And then, kunin natin yung S sub 3. Okay, yung displacement at 3 seconds. So, yan ay 3 times 3 squared plus 3. So, 3 squared is 9 times 3. 9 times 3, 27 plus 3, 30 meters. So, at 2 seconds, ang kanyang displacement ay 14 meters. At 3 seconds, ang kanyang displacement ay 30 meters. Ang question dito, what is the displacement from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. So, hinahanap lang dyan ay, basically lang hinahanap lang dyan ay change of S. So, yan ay S sub 3 minus S sub 2. So, ano yung change in displacement niyan? So, di ba yan ay 30 meters minus 14 meters? O yung displacement at 3 seconds and then yung displacement at 2 seconds. So, the answer is 16 meters. Kasi displacement lang naman yung hinahanap. So next naman ang sinabi rito, the average velocity from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. So ano ba yung formula natin ng average velocity? V average is equal to, yan ay, okay, S sub, di ba yan ay change of S over change of time. Para in this case, ang gagawin natin dito, change of S natin, yung displacement, okay, yung displacement natin at 3 seconds minus yung displacement natin at 2 seconds over yung time natin, ang change of time natin dito 2 seconds to 3 seconds. So that is, okay, syempre yan ay 3 seconds minus 2 seconds. Sana ba yung displacement natin at 3 seconds? Di ba yan ay 30 meters based sa ating table. Yung displacement at 2 seconds, 14 meters. Over 3 seconds minus 2 seconds is 1 second. So 30 meters minus 14 meters is 16 meters over 1 second. So lumalabas yung average velocity natin ay 16 meters per seconds. If we're talking about average velocity from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. So this is the answer. Okay, next naman may tinatawag tayong instantaneous velocity. So anong difference niya sa average velocity? Pag sabi natin instantaneous velocity, this is the velocity at particular time. And that is equal to the limit of the average velocity as change of t approaches 0. Or in symbol, the instantaneous velocity is equal to the limit of change of s over change of t as change of t approaches 0. Okay, so anong difference? So kapag average velocity, that is change in displacement over change in time. Kapag average velocity. Pero kapag sabi natin instantaneous velocity, that is change of s over change of time. Ito yung instantaneous velocity natin. Change of s over change of time. Ang difference nilang dalawa, yung change of time dito, dapat yan ay nag-a-approach to 0. Or sobrang magkadikit yung kanyang time. So ano pong ibig sabihin yan? Kasi guys, sa average velocity, kagaya ng example kanina, no? So, kagaya kanina, dito yung time, dito yung displacement. At 2 seconds yan ay 14 meters, di ba? At 3 seconds naman, yan ay 30 meters kanina. So, kapag sabi natin average velocity, from 2 seconds to 3 seconds, ang gap nilang dalawa ay 1 second. Yung change of t niya, 1 second. Kapag average velocity, medyo malaki yung kanyang gap sa change of t. Or yung kanyang gap ay, kumbaga meron siyang, kumbagang substantial na value, no? Kagaya nito, 1 second. Kapag instantaneous kasi, ang gusto nating maging gap dito ay almost 0 seconds yung gusto natin. Almost 0, I mean, yung kanyang magiging gap. So, kung almost 0 yan, ang gusto natin kapag ka instantaneous, ito pa yung gusto nating mangyari. For example, kanina, no? Meron tayong time, meron tayong displacement. So, from 2 seconds, ang ating ay 14 meters, yung ating displacement. And then, yung next natin dapat na i-compare na point ay 2.000001 seconds. Then, kukunin natin yung kanyang displacement at this specific time period. So, ibig sabihin, kukunin natin yung S of 2.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no? 0.000001 seconds. So, kailangan natin makuha yung kanyang displacement at this time. So, ang difference nila, ito, yung layo ng dalawang to, ito ay almost 0 or approaching 0. Ito naman, kapag average, medyo malaki yung kanyang agwat. Kaya po ito tinawag na instantaneous kasi ang 2 tsaka 2.00001 seconds, lumalabas, halos magkadikit na magkadikit. So, lumalabas rito, parang ang velocity mo na rito, lumalabas ay velocity at 2 seconds na siya kapag instantaneous. Kasi magkalapit lang naman yung dalawang point. Ito kasi sa kabila, ang velocity mo rito, average velocity. No? So, kumbaga ina-average mo from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. Ito instantaneous kasi nga magkalapit na si 2 seconds kay 2.000001 seconds. Kasi instant. Kasi magkadikit yung dalawa niyang point. So, paano po natin siya makukuha? Para makuha natin yung instantaneous velocity, napakadali lang po ng kanyang formula. Dito ngayon papasok yung derivative. As we all know, yung napapansin natin kanina, yung ating displacement is in terms of time. So, ibig sabihin, di ba, ang equation natin kanina, for example, 3t squared minus t. Yung t dyan is in seconds, and then yung s of t na to, ito naman yung kanyang displacement. Ano? So, naka-function siya ng time. Displacement is a function of time. Kumbaga, para makuha natin yung ating instantaneous velocity, ang gagawin lang po natin dyan, i-derivative lang natin yung equation natin ng displacement with respect to time. I-derivative natin. So, that is equal to, pag dinerivative natin yan, magiging s prime na siya. So, kung gusto natin makuha yung displacement, I mean yung velocity at any period of time or instantaneous velocity, that is s prime of t. Okay? I-derivative mo lang yung equation o yung function ng ating displacement in terms of time. Yun ngayon yung magiging velocity natin o yung instantaneous velocity natin na tinatawag. So, mag-try tayo ng example. For example number 5, a particle moves along a straight line according to the position function s of t is equal to t cubed minus 9t squared plus 15t plus 3 meters for the time interval 0, 6 seconds. Compute for the position of the particle after the following values of time. Time is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 seconds. So, ano yung pinapahanap? Ang pinapahanap po sa atin dyan is yung position at the following time period. So, paano natin mahanap yan? That is simply substitution. So, meron tayong time 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 seconds. Yung time natin ay naka-seconds, yung kanyang unit. Then, meron tayong displacement. Ang kanyang unit naman rito ay naka-meters. Hindi po yan T of S or S of M. Ang time natin, ang kanyang unit ay seconds. Ang displacement naman natin, denoted by letter S, ang unit naman yan ay naka-meters. So, substitution. Kapag S of 0, that is 0 cubed minus 9, 0 squared, 9 times 0 squared plus 15 times 0 plus 3. So, ano yung sagot? Ang sagot po dyan ay basically 3. Sila itong merong t dyan ay magiging 0. Next naman natin, Philapan is S of 1. That is 1 cubed minus 9, 1 squared plus 15 times 1 plus 3. So, 1 cubed is 1. 1 squared is 1 times negative 9. So, negative 9 pa rin. Plus 15 plus 3. 15 plus 3 is 18. 18 minus 9 is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. So, this is 10 meters. At 1 seconds. And then, we can solve for yung 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, pwede po natin gamitin yung ating calculator para ma-solve yung mga value ng displacement at that specific time period. Okay, yung magiging sagot po natin dyan ay etong mga sumusunod na to. So, next po nating displacement after 3, 10 meters. Next po natin dyan ay 5 meters at 2 seconds. Kapag 3 naman, negative 6 meters. Kapag 4, ginamit natin calculator, negative 17 meters. Kapag 5 naman, negative 22 meters. Then kapag 6, yan ay negative 15 meters. So, ang question, bakit po ngayon merong mga negative na answer dyan? Nung sinubstitute natin yung sagot, bakit may mga negative dito? Ang displacement, pwede po siyang maging negative, pwede siyang maging positive. Kasi ang displacement ay isa po yung vector quantity. Kapag sinabi natin vector quantity, meron po siyang sense of direction. Okay? Kasi ang katapat niyan, distance, yun yung scalar quantity. So, pwede siyang maging negative. So, kapag nag-negative yan, ibig sabihin, yung kanyang direction ay kabaliktaran nung initial. Kaya po siya nag-negative. So, ibig sabihin yan po ay bumalik. Halimbawa, nung 0 seconds, yan ay 3 meters, di ba? So, gawa tayo ng Cartesian plane. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, gawin na natin itong 10, 20. Ito naman, gawin natin negative 10. So, at 0 seconds, nasa 3 meters siya. At 1 second, nasa 10 meters na siya. At 2 seconds, naging 5 meters. Okay, so 5 meters at 2 seconds. So, saan yun? Ang bali dito. And then, at 3 seconds, naging negative 6 dito siya. So, parang yung naging direction niya, no? From point A, napunta siya to point B. And then, dito yung point C. Ito yung point D. So, tingnan nyo yung kanyang direction. Mula rito, napunta siya dito, bumalik. And then, ayan, bumalik. So, ang nangyari po ay nag-reverse siya ng direction dito sa part na to. Kaya po siya nag-negative. Kasi kumbaga bumalik siya rin sa initial position niya. Kaya po siya nag-negative. Nag-change siya ng direction, kumbaga. Okay, next po tayo. So, ito yung mga sagot natin, by the way, no? So, sabi lang naman, compute for the position of the particle after the following values at these different times. Ito actually yung mga sagot natin. Itong nasa part na to. Yan yung mga answer dyan. So, next na sinabi, compute the displacement from 2 seconds to 5 seconds. Okay, so displacement raw natin from 2 seconds. Ito yung time, ito yung displacement. 2 seconds, tsaka 5 seconds. So, ano ba yung displacement natin kanina sa 2 seconds and 5 seconds? So, yun po ay 5 meters, tsaka negative 22 meters. So, compute natin yung kanyang displacement. Ayan, para makuha natin yung kanyang displacement, pagmaminusin lang natin silang dalawa. Negative 22 meters minus 5 meters is equal to negative 27 meters. Okay, next po tayo. Next naman natin, ang question naman dito, a particle moves along a straight line according to the position function s of t is equal to t cubed minus 9t squared plus 15t plus 3 meters for the time interval 0, 6 seconds. And then we're going to compute for the velocity of the particle at the following values of time. So, ang kailangan po natin dyan ay velocity at the following values of time. So, ang gagawin po natin kapag meron tayong displacement equation, s of t, balak natin kunin yung velocity equation or v of t. Ang gagawin pa natin dyan, i-derivative lang natin. Kasi ang derivative po ng ating displacement equation is actually equal sa ating velocity equation. Ngayon, ano yung derivative niyan? Ang derivative po ng ating displacement equation, which is magiging velocity equation natin, 3t squared minus 18t plus 15. So, ito na yung ating velocity equation. Ang gagawin natin, kukunin natin yung velocity at different period of time. So, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kasi yan yung hiningi sa problem. So, kunin natin yung v of 0. Ang v of 0 ay 3 times 0 squared minus 18 times 0 plus 15. So, cancelled. Lahat ng may 0, cancelled. So, yan ay magiging 15. Ang unit po natin dyan ay meter per seconds. Because that is a velocity. Velocity is change of distance per change of time. So, ang distance natin naka-meters. Ang time natin naka-seconds. Okay, sagutan pa natin yung iba. Kunin natin yung velocity at 1 seconds. 1 second, yan ay 3 times 1 squared minus 18 times 1 plus 15. So, yan ay magiging 3 minus 18 plus 15. So, the answer is 0 meter per second. And then, kunin lang natin yung iba, no, by substituting. Yung v of 2, ano yung magiging sagot dyan? By substitution. So, magiging sagot po dyan ay negative 9 meter per seconds. And then, yung v of 3 naman, magiging negative 12 meter per seconds. And then, yung v of 4, magiging negative 9 meter per seconds. Yung v of 5, 0 meter per seconds. And then, yung v of 6, 15 meter per seconds. Kung mapapansin po natin, yung mga sagot po natin dyan ay merong negative. So, once again, kaya po siya may negative kasi po bumaliktad siya ng direction. Kapag nag-change kasi ng direction, yung ating displacement, yung ating velocity ganun din, magiging negative din siya. Okay, and then next po tayo. By the way, yung answer pala natin dyan is itong mga ito. Sa pinapanap lang naman, velocity at this period. Ibig sabihin mga instantaneous velocity yan. Velocity at 0 seconds, velocity at 1 second, velocity at 2 seconds, velocity at 3 seconds. 3 seconds. So, pinapanap po dyan ay instantaneous velocity, hindi siya average velocity. And then next, meron tayong tinatawag na instantaneous acceleration. Ang instantaneous acceleration or acceleration, tinitingnan lang po natin yung change in velocity per unit of time. Di ba kapag pinag-usapan natin velocity, it measures how fast its position is changing. So, as it moves along, the velocity may also change. So, pwede pong bumagal or pwede siyang bumilis yung ating velocity. So, the thing is that, yung change in velocity, ang tawag po natin dyan ay acceleration. Okay, so paano makukuha yung velocity? Paano makukuha yung acceleration? Acceleration, guys, it reveals how fast the object is gaining or losing the speed. So, para makuha natin yung acceleration, i-derivative lang natin yung velocity. That's why yung acceleration is the derivative of velocity, and actually that is the second derivative of the displacement. So, ibig sabihin lang neto, kapag meron kang displacement or s of t, kapag dinerivative mo yan ay magiging velocity. Ang velocity, kapag dinerivative mo siya, yan ay magiging acceleration. So, yan po yung kanilang pagkakasunod-sunod. From displacement function, pag derivative mo magiging velocity, kinuha mo yung kanyang derivative. And then, kapag yung first derivative mo, nag-differentiate ka ulit, makuha mo yung second derivative, magiging acceleration function na yan. That's why acceleration is the first derivative of velocity and the second derivative of displacement. So, try natin ito example na to. An arrow is shot vertically upward into the air where its distance from the ground after t seconds is given by the position function in meters. S of t is equal to negative 5t squared plus 25t. So, ano yung tinatanong? Ang tinatanong, what is the velocity and position after 2.5 seconds? So, paano natin malalaman yung velocity or instantaneous velocity at 2.5 seconds? So, ang gagawin, kukunin muna natin yung velocity function, v of t. So, pag gagawin natin derivative, so ito ay magiging negative 10t plus 25. And then, by substitution, no? So, v of 2.5, that is negative 10 times 2.5 plus 25. So, yan ay magiging negative 25 plus 25. So, ano magiging velocity at 2.5 seconds? Basically, the velocity is 0 meter per seconds. Ano naman yung kanyang position? May sabihin, S of 2.5. Or the position at 2.5 seconds. So, negative 5 times 2.5 squared plus 25 times 2.5. So, what is the answer? So, using the calculator, yung magiging sagot po natin dyan ay okay, ang magiging answer natin dyan ay 31.25. 31.25 meters. So, ito po yung mga answer. Okay, next. Next naman, find the acceleration at any time t. So, ano daw yung acceleration? So, kunin natin yung velocity. Ang velocity ay equal to derivative ng displacement. So, magiging negative 10t plus 25. And then next, kunin natin yung acceleration. Para makuha yung acceleration, di ba yan ay derivative ng velocity. So, ang derivative ng velocity, negative 10. So, what is the acceleration at any time? Yung equation po ng acceleration at any time period is negative 10 meter per second squared. So, bakit per second squared? Kasi ang unit po ng acceleration ay ito, naka-distance over, naka-square yung time. So, yan po yung acceleration at any time period. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. Kahit ano pa yung time, same lang yung acceleration. Okay, next po tayo. Next naman, number 7. A particle moves in a straight line and whose position from the starting point at any time t in minutes is S of t is equal to 3t cubed plus 3t squared plus t meters. What is the distance covered after 1 minute and after 2 minutes? So, kunin natin yung S of 1 muna. S of 1 minute ito. So, yan ay 3 times 1 cube plus 3 times 1 squared plus 1. Ang sagot, 3 plus 3 plus 1, that is 7 meters. So, ito yung time, ito yung displacement. At 1 minute, ang displacement ay 7 meters. Kung natin yung S of 2, 3 times 2 cube plus 3 times 2 squared plus 2. So, 3 times 8, 2 times 2 times 2, plus 3 times 4, 12 plus 2. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 12, that is 36. plus 2, magiging 38 meters. So, at 2 minutes, that is 38 meters. So, what is the distance covered after 1 minute? The answer is 7 meters. What is the distance covered after 2 minutes? The answer is 38 meters. Ito po yung ating sagot. Then next question naman, what is the average velocity between 1 minute and 2 minutes? So, paano natin makuha yung average velocity? Di ba ang tanong niya, average velocity? So, therefore, yan ay, so, ang unit ng velocity, di ba? Meter per second. So, ang ano natin dyan, change of displacement over change of time. So, ibig sabihin, velocity at 2 minutes minus velocity at 1 minute over yung time natin na 2 minutes minus 1 minute. So, S sub 2 natin dyan ay, nasolve na natin kanina, na yung S sub 2 natin. S sub 2 natin kanina 38. S sub 1 is 7 meters. Wait, 38 tsaka 7 meters. S sub 2, 38 meters. S sub 1, 7 meters over 2 minute minus 1 minute is 1 minute. So, 38 minus 7 ay 31 meters per minute. Ito yung ating final answer. Para sa average velocity. Take note, ang ginamit pa na term average velocity. So, hindi po niya sinabing instantaneous velocity. And then, next po natin, what is the velocity and the acceleration after 1 minute? So, paano natin makukuha yung velocity? Sabi niya, what is the velocity? Ang term po niya, what is velocity? So, ibig sabihin, instantaneous velocity yung tinutukoy niya dyan. Instantaneous velocity at 1 minute. And what is the acceleration after 1 minute? So, ito ay instantaneous acceleration din. So, para makuha yung instantaneous velocity, i-derivative lang natin ito. First derivative. So, yan ay magiging 9t squared plus 6t plus 1. So, by substitution, v of 1 or instantaneous velocity of 1 minute is 9, 1 squared plus 6 times 1 plus 1. So, 9 plus 6, 15 plus 1, 16. So, 16 meter per minute yung ating instantaneous velocity at 1 minute. Next naman, instantaneous acceleration at 1 minute. So, kunin natin yung acceleration equation niya. So, derivative lang natin yung velocity. Magiging 18t plus 6. So, acceleration at 1 minute is equal to 18 times 1 plus 6. That is equal to 18 plus 6, 24. So, ito yung acceleration natin at 1 minute. 24 meter per minute squared. Ito pa yung final answer. So, that's it for applications of differential calculus.